Kenny was telling me a story just a short bit ago about somebody bought a shovel online and it was going to cost more to ship the shovel than they had paid on the shovel.
I know. And that's the hardest part
Yeah.
of stuff that we run into is,
Yeah.
selling something online and
Yeah.
somebody wanting it shipped. And
Yeah.
everybody's so used to Amazon or
Right,
Walmart or
right.
Target where
Yeah.
you're getting free shipping.
Yeah.
And a small company can't
Yeah.
offer free
Yeah,
shipping.
yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I'm Chris with Cherokee Auto, and this is Phillip Hopper with Powell Auction and Realty. And thanks for joining us today, Phillip.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Phillip is sporting the UT Vols colors. How many games do y'all go to a year?
Not too many.
You go to one?
Typically,
Okay.
at least one.
Yeah, yeah. So
But
we
don't
went.
have season tickets or anything.
You don't have season tickets? So I've got a physician that I used to work with, Dr. Sullivan, at the Veterans Home. He has season tickets. And when he doesn't need the tickets, which he normally doesn't because they've not been doing a very good job, he'll send me a text message and he'll be like, hey, would you like to have tickets for the game tomorrow or the game today? And I'll be like, I'm not really a big sports fan, but we do usually go to one game a year that way. Usually it's not like the Florida.
That's usually with us how
Yeah.
we wait until somebody gives us tickets. But the past couple of years haven't had as
Yes.
many free
Yeah.
opportunities as years past.
He said the ticket price went up pretty dramatically this year. And I think I saw that in the online news where they were raising because they're having to play the players now.
Yep,
Yeah.
they're charging a 10% fee on top of everything.
What are your thoughts about the players getting money compensation for being college football players now? What are your thoughts on? Do you have thoughts on that?
It's
Or
kind of mixed. I have mixed feelings on it. I mean, I understand them wanting to get compensated for what they're doing because once they get out in the real world, they'll be that way.
Yeah.
But on the other side, some of what they're paying, it's kind of crazy.
what are they paying? I don't know what they're
I mean,
paying.
some of them have multi-million-dollar deals.
The college football players
Yeah,
do?
some of them have some crazy.
You think they would put a
numbers.
limit on it?
I know you need to look into that. It's
Yeah.
kind of interesting.
Wow. I had no idea. I thought maybe they were making like minimum wage or something.
No, they're making some
Yeah.
good money.
So that would be I guess if the school wants to attract the person and they're willing to pay them like you said,
Right.
A large amount of money, then that would be a way for them to attract better talent. So you got to wonder, like, when it was illegal, like you have the one SEC team that won for like ever. You got to wonder if there wasn't
Well,
something going.
there was some way of
Yeah.
doing it.
I don't know a whole lot about sports, but that's a little fishy there. But anyways, I like your orange. I don't look good in orange. When I wear orange, I don't feel like I look good in orange. So
Gotta support the orange
Yeah.
on Fridays.
this is episode 22 on our podcast, interviewing local businesses and just trying to make some recommendations to the businesses, doing some free consulting, trying to help them increase their revenue and their profit margin. And that's one of the things that Phillip and I are doing today is I'm making some recommendations about some of the marketing tips that I've learned specifically about the Google Business Profile, about how to make it stronger and how to make it stronger organically, where you don't have to spend a lot of marketing dollars to support your business. So one of the people that I interviewed this week, actually episode 21, which will be coming out, or actually already came out when y'all are watching this, is Dean & Co. It's a little company here in town, and her mom makes macrame, and that's their whole business. But her favorite color is burnt orange. So when I see your Tennessee orange shirt there, I think about that. So tell us about Powell Auction and Realty. What do y'all do here?
Powell Auction Realty, we've been around for a little over 50 years. We started in the early 70s, and we have transitioned into where we sell pretty much everything. We sell a lot of real estate at auction. We've got a public auto auction. We sell estates with personal properties. We have a firearms license where we sell guns and ammunition, coins, jewelry, equipment, farm equipment, machinery, pretty much anything that's a sellable asset, we will sell it. And majority, we have the auto auction twice a month, first and third Saturdays of each month, and then real estate auctions all the time, and all different kinds of auctions just throughout the month.
Yeah. So who started Powell Auction over 50 years ago?
Well, there was another family that had started it, and in the early mid 70s, the Phillips family, Howard and Barbara, bought it.
Oh, okay.
And then have just grown it ever since then, and it's remained family owned and operated since then.
So I came by about a week ago just to say hi to Kenny on an important day in his life. It was his anniversary. And Howard was out here and Barbara was out here.
They're here every day.
Yeah. And Howard said that Barbara still does all of the bookkeeping. And of course, she's teaching somebody else now, but
she does all of
yeah.
the accounting
Yeah.
practices
Yeah.
of the company.
Yeah. And Howard had a bank bag. Barbara had given Howard a bank bag to go make the bank deposit. So family roots about as you can get. So y'all sell a lot of cars in your auto auction?
Yeah, I mean, usually I'd say on average you probably have between 100 and 150 cars
Okay.
per auction.
Yeah.
Running through.
Yeah. So one of the cool little tidbits here that I'll share is when we went into the car business 12 years ago, we bought all of our cars the very first year from Powell Auction. We bought 70 our very first year. And I met you not too long. How long have you been here?
I've been here for, it'll be 12 years in
So-
November.
That was around the same time that I started working with Powell Auction. Is the same time that Phillip started working with Powell Auction. So you guys are killing it.
Yeah, I mean, we're, over the 50 years in business, we've grown a lot and continue to grow and do, a lot of auctions. Probably, I mean, if you had to look, I think probably the most in the area.
Yeah.
And we've just, continually built a good presence and,
For
and
sure.
reputation,
Yeah, 100%.
which continue, when you take care of your customers, they take care of you.
So Powell Auction has a public auto auction. So when you don't have to have a dealer's license to come get a car here, you can actually just come and buy a car. I think in Tennessee you can do, is it 5?
I believe that's right,
Yeah,
without having a license. But
Yeah.
we're, originally you couldn't have a public auto auction, and so our ownership worked with some other auction companies and legislatures in Tennessee and got it passed where you could do a public auto
Oh, okay.
auction.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Yep.
That's interesting. That was a great opportunity. We came and we had no intentions of buying our very first car. I have a picture of us in the car with a temp tag from Powell Auction on the back of it. That was car number 1, 12 and a half years ago. And we had no intentions of buying a car that day. And I want to say we paid about $400 for it. And it was a good car.
And turned around and sold it.
And we drove it right down here where this gas station is now. That's one of the pictures I have is she was in front of me. Yeah, we turned around and sold it and made, I'm not going to say how much money we made, but we
made
made
enough money to keep buying them.
I'll say this. I'll say we made. I was in nursing school at the time. I was working out at UT Hospital, and we made more off of that one car than I made out there in 4 weeks. I'll just say that. And that is sometimes that's
Strike
how.
the match in your head.
That's it. That's a spark that starts business. So what trends are you seeing? What trends are you seeing in the auction industry?
Well, I mean, prior to COVID, it was starting to transition into more online auctions, but
Yeah.
during COVID and after, pretty much everything has become online only auctions.
Right. Yeah.
We still do the auto auction is live with online bidding, but for the most part, everything else is online only auctions. And I think that's the biggest trend
Yeah.
in the auction industry.
Yeah.
Whether it's real estate or furniture or anything.
Yeah. Now, a couple years ago, you guys transitioned over to high bid. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably been
Here.
It's been several years
Yeah.
since we've been using them.
I remember when you guys transitioned over, it was weird because we were so used to using your old platform, and now you've got this new platform, and it wasn't the same. And I remember looking online like Facebook or something, and somebody had made a comment that they didn't like it. And Kenny is Howard's, one of Howard's children, right? Kenny and Brian. But Kenny made a comment that they were going to try it, and they were pretty sure it was going to work out, and rest assured everything's going to be okay. And so
and Highbid's a big, it's a big national platform that
it doesn't go down.
Use all over the place.
Yeah, it doesn't go down either. It's like Velocicast. When Velocicast is supposed to work, it works, and that's it. So that's important.
Stable platform.
Right, nice and stable. Yep, very very much so. One of the questions that we went over earlier was talking about winning in business and winning in your personal life. So I've always told my friends that when you win, I think you should celebrate. And so what does that look like with you when you win? What do you do to celebrate, and what do you consider to be a win in business?
A win in business to me is just, I think as you function as a business, you're continually winning, helping your customers.
Right, the customer's
And
happy.
I think that's your big win. Whether it's helping an estate, sell a large amount of assets that they have no clue what they need,
Exactly.
how they can handle it
Exactly.
themselves, or
Yeah.
selling a car that was somebody's grandfather's prized possession. I
Right.
think anytime that you're able to help somebody, help them with in their time of need, and you're successfully able to do that, I think is a win.
Yeah.
I think as far as when you meet goals or expectations that you set for yourself, I think it's always important to take time and celebrate.
Yeah.
And most of the time, I think for me, it's just something doing something smaller, going having a nice dinner with my wife, and
Yeah.
doing things like that. I've
Yeah.
never done anything crazy, go on a huge trip or anything
Yeah.
like that.
You've never went to Europe for 5 weeks?
No 5 week
Not yet.
Europe trip.
So do you and your wife have a favorite restaurant in town?
In Knoxville, our favorite restaurant would probably be J.C. Holdway.
Ooh, never heard of
downtown.
that.
It's on Union Avenue,
J.C. Holdway.
and it's a really, really good restaurant. We like it. The chef that owns it, his name's Joseph Lynn, and he started out. He was one of the chefs at Blackberry Farm.
Oh, wow.
And he started his restaurant, and he's a James Beard award-winning chef.
Ooh.
And so it's just kind of it's a different, I don't know if higher end is the right word, but it's just a good, just different type of restaurant than you'd get,
Ooh.
anywhere
Yeah.
else.
So what do you just like eat meat and vegetables or salads or
Typically, he
seafood?
has it's not a huge menu,
Yeah.
but it's a seasonal
Okay, gotcha.
menu with meat.
So just delicious and
different.
yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
always
different.
anything that you get's great.
So when we first started, so we started selling cars, and then we did cars and real estate, and now we do in-house financing with our business. But so for me, what it looked like when we would win is we would go out and we would celebrate in a restaurant. And so originally we would go out and we would go to the Chop House there in Fountain City, and that was a really big deal because we never really ate there. So that was like almost like I've never been to Ruth's Chris, but a lot of people talk about Ruth's Chris or Fleming's or Connor's, and so that was a really big deal. And then one time we had already eaten, and so we went out to Litton's and we all got a dessert. All the kids got a dessert. And so I remember I had the biggest piece of red velvet cake. And that's what celebrating for us was like. And so it's always been a restaurant, and it's always been in the Fountain City area. And now when we do something really big, there's not really a celebration anymore. So I feel like we need to get back to that.
Back in that
Yeah,
groove.
because what is big, right?
I know that's the thing, is trying to figure out what's worth celebrating.
What is
I guess.
big? Yeah, I
What's
mean, when
big,
you're-
what's the biggest
Yeah, so
accomplishment.
I think you're probably compensated in a commission type of environment here, or you should be. If I was the owner, I mean, I would look at, commission's important. So, but
Well, and I think just in general, I think it's good to take time to celebrate. I mean, even if it's
To
not big,
recognize,
I think it's
yeah,
good to just
right.
take time out of your life and go do something that you enjoy, whether it's eating or if it is going on a small trip or something like that.
I know.
think it's just
I
important
think that's important to recognize it.
to just reward yourself in general for just just surviving.
Yeah, right. That's it. So we all have anniversaries. We all have birthdays. Our parents have birthdays. There's a lot of reasons to celebrate, and so I feel like that's important. One of the coolest things that's happened to me in the last couple of years, you kind of get into the lull of everything, the lull of everyday life. But one of our mechanics, I'm not going to name the name of the shop right now because we're swapping around sometimes, but he told me that he was going to the beach with his wife one day, and I was like, well, that's cool. He was going to go for an entire week too. I was like, well, why are you going to the beach? He's like, it's my birthday. I do it every year. We take a week off every year on my birthday and we go to the beach. So I'm like, I love the beach, man. Do y'all go to the beach?
We do.
Where do you
We're
go?
Actually going week after next. We like to go to Kiowa Island in South Carolina. a
Okay.
lot. It's
Yeah.
kind of in the area of
About 7 hours?
Charleston area.
Yeah. Okay, so down further. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of it's just a neat area. It's a lot like the I guess you'd call it the neighborhood. It's a lot like around Hilton Head, where you have like bike trails. And
Do you always go to the exact same house?
No,
Or do you go to
we
different hotels?
we
or
usually rent a house.
Okay,
and
you do Airbnb
not
or something.
necessarily the same
Yeah.
place, but
Yeah. I think it's cool to go to a different place. Yeah.
Yeah.
We went to Wadmalal Island outside of Charleston one time, and we stayed on the Brackish, and it was really cool to see the water come in and go out. We had a boat dock, and they had a boat there with kayaks, and yeah, it's really cool to see that. The house was built up about 15 feet off the ground, so you had to go up this huge set of wooden steps just to get into the house. The house was 2 stories,
That's
so
really cool.
but it was really hot there. Kiowa's got to be close to Wadmalal.
Yeah,
so.
I'd say, during the peak season, peak summer, it's a very hot and humid place.
Yeah.
This time of year,
Starting to
early
cool off.
October, it's a good time to go. And there's
Yeah.
not, beach isn't as busy, but it's still good weather and warm. And usually where we stay, the house will have a pool at it. So
Oh, nice.
that's nice.
That's
with
nice.
Kids. And
Yeah. And you've
all
got a couple of really like almost like toddler kids.
Yeah, we got
You got a young family.
6-year-old son and a 2.5-year-old daughter, and so it's fun.
Your house is like a zoo sometimes.
It can be most of the time.
Most of the time. That's exciting. That's what life's about. How old were you when you started working? What was your first job, and what did you learn from your job?
I don't really know how old I was when I guess, technically started working. I mean, I never had a true, I guess, job.
Yeah. So you were
I
like
was
self-employed?
always doing, something like, one of my grandfathers, he had some rental properties, and I would help him with painting or cleaning up or, whatever needed to be done on that. And mowing yards. And, I started mowing yards for family members and a couple of neighbors when I was, I don't know how old I was, but I was pretty young.
I think you were like 12 or
and then
10.
when I turned, somewhere probably in that range.
Yeah.
And then when I turned 16, I bought a zero-turn mower and a trailer and started mowing.
You started hustling.
More, doing a lot more yards, and did that throughout college, and then out of college for a little while too.
Yeah.
So I don't.
So you pulled your little trailer and your zero turnaround and
and would mow. I had.
That's one of the best
yards.
hustles you can get into. Is that's one of the easiest service businesses to get into.
It was really good, and you were able to learn working with people. Having to provide. Number one, I guess, just customer service skills, just meeting with people and talking with them and trying to get their business, and mowing yards or doing landscaping, and having to come up with how to price things and figure out,
how to raise your price sometimes too.
Like on landscaping, how much to charge for certain stuff to, because you couldn't just go in and give a roundabout number. Most people wanted to know what you're going to charge total, and you had to make sure what it was going to take to do it and how much time.
Did you ever undercharge somebody that you remembered?
Not that I remember,
Okay,
but
gotcha.
I'm sure there's time.
Because you definitely know when you were going to overcharge somebody because they wouldn't let you have it.
Right.
Or they would argue with you,
And you would, I'm sure there's times that you could look back and find where you'd undercharge and you spend a lot of time on something that
traveling
you didn't
or
realize
fuel
would,
or
in the next job it didn't take as long as you thought it would. So it all evens out.
Yeah. One of my very first jobs, I grew up in a little town of like 4 people, so little. A little town called South Fulton, Tennessee. And up above Memphis all the way to Kentucky. And one of my very first jobs was delivering drugs on a skateboard for a local pharmacist. And I would, now you say drugs, I wasn't delivering like dope and stuff, but I was delivering like heart medications and
working for a little, just a small.
on a skateboard. I had to have been
pharmacist.
like 14 years old, 13, 14. And I would vacuum. He had the old vacuum, it had the metal, had the big bag, and it was really loud, And I would vacuum, and it didn't really pick up the dirt very well because it was so old. He probably got it fixed when it broke. He didn't just
he didn't just go replace it.
But I went to school with his daughter, Andrew's Pharmacy. I went to school with his daughter, and so I would see her at school, and then I would be helping clean the pharmacy, which wasn't too far away. So that was one of my very first jobs. I have huge legs to this day because of that. I don't ever do anything with my legs when I'm lifting weights or anything. Like, man, I really don't want my legs to be any bigger than this. So
funny.
So I'm curious, and all of our viewers are curious. Like the day you met your wife, or like what happened leading up to it. But when you first saw her, like where were you? Were you into her immediately, or how did that work? So
yeah, I think initially.
Were you nervous?
We had met online,
Yeah.
but then we had a bunch of mutual friends and connections
Oh, cool.
that as we started talking that we knew about.
Mm-hmm.
And our first, I guess we went out to dinner at Crown and Goose
Mm-hmm.
in the old city, which is no longer there. Maybe we were the kiss of death on it, but we went there for dinner and just enjoyed each other's
Yeah.
company
Yeah.
and everything, and had a good night. And then I guess I was probably more into her than she was me for a while, and I think over time we just stayed in touch.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Yeah.
Things just worked out. And,
Yeah.
and then we ended up getting married, and
Yeah.
now have 2 kids, and,
Yeah. You guys have a sweet family.
and have a good family, and it's been a good time together.
So we actually met about 12 or 11 years ago. You lived kind of across the street from us.
Mm-hmm.
So you lived catty corner, and I actually remember. I can't remember. I think you were putting a fence up or something. I can't remember, but you were there alone. You had
I
not.
think,
Yeah. Maybe y'all were dating at that
I was
time.
trying to remember.
Yeah.
I guess I bought that house in 2014.
Yeah.
That's probably when it was.
Oh, about
I
10 years
remember
ago.
y'all
Yeah. Yeah.
Living, kind of.
But I remember how nice that house was and how old it was, and of course all those houses on the Adair there, are older. But yeah.
Street.
Yeah. Well, every house is different, and all the roofs are complex.
They got some.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got good character to them.
Yes.
Very
Kind of like when you go out Old Tazewell Pike. We're going at Tazewell Pike.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Over in
houses
that
with a lot
area.
of character. Yeah. And then if you get off Tazewell Pike, like going over towards like the Garden Montessori area, and
those
there's some more
those
houses
types of
there.
Houses.
Yeah.
They're all the 1930s
We were neighbors.
houses.
We're still kind of neighbors, aren't we?
We are again right now, not too far from each other.
I know. I take the dogs out all the time, and up and down the streets there, and every now and then we'll take a little bit longer run or whatever, and I'll look over and I'll see your car, and I'll be like, oh, there's Phillip's house. You guys really take care of your property well. Your house, that fence you just put up is beautiful. It's like the color is almost like a grayish blonde or something.
It was
Like a cypress or
cedar, like a
cedar.
something-
Yeah.
I forget what.
It's
West
beautiful
red
though.
cedar.
It's not a
It's
traditional fence color. It's beautiful.
And we haven't stained it or anything, so it's
Yeah,
just
it's beautiful.
kinda
Yeah, absolutely
naturally
beautiful.
aged.
So tell me, here at Powell Auction, tell me about some of the most effective marketing that you've been part of.
I mean, I think the most effective marketing that we've had as a company, and really probably the entirety of the company, is just word of mouth referrals and building a
Yeah.
good, strong network of people.
Yes.
And I think the way that you do that is, as you take care of people and you treat people right, your business will just organically continue to grow.
Right.
If you're trying to, cheat somebody or maximize the amount of money that you're making off of somebody, typically, in the short run, you might have a successful business, but in the long run, it's not going to last.
Customer service, yeah.
You're not going to be able to keep it going like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think you can say something, but your actions will speak louder than your words.
Right.
So I think that people watch what you do. They watch how you make them feel, and then that's important.
Right.
In
No,
my
absolutely.
opinion. So
Absolutely. And I think that's, for any business, I think that can be your best form of marketing and growth.
yeah, so digging a little bit into Powell Auction's products like that I've bought, or maybe a story that Kenny told. Kenny was telling me a story just a short bit ago about somebody bought a shovel online, and it was going to cost more to ship the shovel than they had paid on the shovel.
And that's the hardest part
Yeah.
of stuff that we run into is,
Yeah.
selling something online and
Yeah.
somebody wanting it shipped. And
Yeah.
everybody's so used to Amazon or
Right,
Walmart or
right.
Target where
Yeah.
you're getting free shipping.
Yeah.
And well, a small company can't
Yeah.
offer free
Yeah,
shipping.
yeah.
And so you buy something, that
Maybe if they're
Amazon
buying
can
a
ship
couple of
for free.
stamps, you can offer free shipping.
Well, yeah, there's something like that's cheaper
Yeah.
to ship, but if you've got a bigger item, a lot of times, with the packing material and postage and insurance, it's
Do you guys take care of that, or do you have a company that takes care of that?
It kind of depends on what it is.
Okay.
I mean, we do stuff through like
Like ship or
one of the
something, or
UPS stores
Yeah.
and some things like that where they'll come pick up items and take it back and then ship it, and that that still costs money. And then we'll do some stuff here in house, like on firearms and things like that.
okay, yeah. Don't you have to ship them to a special place if they
Yeah.
want them shipped?
Yeah, if you're buying one out of state, it has to be shipped to another firearm license dealer, and they have to do the background check and everything on the person.
Yeah, I bought a 22 with a scope rifle the other day from y'all. Well, the other day, like 6 months ago now. I love that. That thing is, I feel like a sniper when I'm shooting it. Of course, it's got a little bullet, like that. And then I bought I don't even need it. I just was like, man, that's cheap. I bought a mobile office the other day, and it's sitting in my yard. It's like a shipping container, but it's got like a door and windows, and I don't have that big of a yard, so it's taking up this. Yeah, it's so funny the things that you can. I think we've bought I know we've flipped 17 houses now, but I think we've bought like maybe 10 of them from Powell Auction. So you guys have some really good real estate deals.
Yeah,
Sometimes
we sell a lot, and I mean it just it's like anything right now. All prices are high and everything.
Yeah.
And I think people like selling at auction, like buying at auction.
Yeah,
and,
it's fun.
It's a unique.
It's some thrill
way
to
of
it.
Buying and selling, and it gives you some good opportunity for sure.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's like a collection. Like you can actually buy someone's collection where they've been collecting guns or stamps or coins or what else do people collect that you guys sell?
You'll have all kinds of different trinkets and glassware.
Yeah.
And
Jewelry. Some people will collect jewelry. Yeah, I've seen jewelry.
coins,
Yeah.
Car collection.
Yeah.
You never know what
Oh
you're
yeah, a car collection. You guys have had some really nice car
I've had some
collections. Yeah, yeah.
good cars.
Do you collect anything?
Not per se. I mean, I like cars a lot.
Yeah.
I don't really have a large collection of vehicles.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But
Maybe someday.
That's something that I'm always interested in, or trying to buy something. And,
Oh.
If I keep it for a little bit and sell it.
You mentioned the
something
Jeeps
like that.
before. Yeah, the
and I've
Jeep.
had,
Are you still into those?
I've got one. It's a Jeep Grand Wagoneer.
Uh-huh. What
that
year
I've
is
got-
it?
It's an '88. So those are pretty neat. They're
Yeah.
the ones with the fake wood.
Oh,
paneling
yeah,
on
yeah.
them. I guess it was really, when you look at SUVs, that was probably the first
Oh yeah.
kind of SUV or more higher, like it had leather seats. And
Oh nice. Higher end
little,
SUV. Yeah.
I guess what you'd consider like a luxury SUV back then, but they're very basic and
Yeah.
nothing
Super,
special about
yeah.
them.
Nothing super fancy. Yeah. Tell me about a family member and their influence on you growing up.
I think it'd probably just be both of my grandfathers. Just how one of my grandfathers,
What was his name?
Charlie, he didn't. He dropped out of school before he was in the 8th grade,
Right.
to help his mom take care of his family. But then he was successful the rest of his life in different aspects. He became an electrician, had his own company, and
Yeah.
then he did some real estate stuff and had some apartments that he developed and built in Fountain City, and then had some rental properties and flipped houses.
Wow.
And,
Where did he live?
Had a farm. He was.
Was he here?
Yeah.
Oh,
here in
cool.
Knoxville.
Nice.
Yeah.
So he had rental properties. He was an electrician. He had a farm. Sounds like he knew how to save
He
money.
did a lot of different things,
Yeah.
and I think from being around him, I just learned a strong work ethic.
Yeah.
From both him and my other grandfather as well. My other grandfather, he went to college. He was first generation college.
Yeah.
What
was his name?
His name was Jack. And he became a mechanical engineer. And he worked when he got out of college, he worked from the time he graduated college until he retired. He worked for the same company, which was what became Robert Shaw, which is
Oh, yeah.
now where University Commons is, where like the Publix and where the
Oh,
Walmart
yeah.
used to be, is
Right,
where
right,
the
right.
factory was.
Right.
And he started there, and he became the chief of engineering for Robert Shaw. But like I say, he worked at that same place from the time he got out of college until he retired.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. Where did he go to school? At UT?
He went
or?
to UT.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool.
But I think just from both of them,
It's a lot of solidity. That's very.
Yeah, and learning, just seeing a strong work ethic, and
Right.
just seeing that if you put your mind to it, you can do.
Yeah,
what
8th
you
grade
wanna do.
education, bachelor's degree can both accomplish a lot.
Right.
It doesn't really, education isn't the.
That's not the end all be all.
It's not, yeah.
It can be a I think
A stepping
it can be
stone.
a stepping stone or a catalyst for
Yeah.
some people, but then other people, it doesn't. It doesn't make a, it wouldn't necessarily make a difference.
No, I think common sense and book sense are both real entities that some of us have both of them. Some of us just have one.
Right.
I've met engineers before who couldn't
Screwing a
tie their
light bulb.
shoes. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah. So I mean,
That's,
it's just.
where did you go to school?
I went to, growing, like, I guess just whole time, I'll just tell you. In elementary school, I went to Shenandoah Elementary School.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to Gresham Middle School. And then I ended up going to Grace Christian Academy.
Okay,
for
Grace
high
Christian
school.
Academy, yeah.
And then I went to UT.
Okay, so where's Grace Christian Academy?
It's in Clarence.
Okay,
off of,
that's what I was
Oak
thinking.
Ridge
That's the
Highway.
big one there across from.
Yeah.
That's a really good school there.
Yeah.
What did you study at UT?
I was in the School of Business. My
Okay.
degree's in business management.
Oh, nice.
And then I guess it wasn't really a minor, but kind of a concentration
Mm-hmm.
of entrepreneurship.
Oh, nice.
And I think that's what they were calling it.
Yeah,
at that time.
yeah. That's cool. I didn't know that they taught entrepreneurship in college.
It was,
Yeah.
but it was good. I enjoyed it.
Mhm.
And then like I said,
What was your
earlier,
GPA?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay. Because I listen to
wasn't
Dave.
great.
I listen to
It
Dave Ramsey all the time, and his was
It wasn't a 4.0, but
Yeah,
it wasn't.
yeah.
It wasn't terrible either.
Yeah, yeah.
But it wasn't. I'd say it was just probably pretty average.
So I'll say two things real quick, and I shared one of these with you about a year or two ago. But I read a book, The Millionaire Next Door, and on page 1 it talked about auctioneers, and it talked about engineers, and then I listen to Dave Ramsey all the time. Like every day I listen to it. It's very therapeutic to have a strong personal finance, and so that's one of the things I do that really helps me. But Dave has an hour where people will call in that are considered Ramsey millionaires. They have a net worth of $1 million, and he asks them several questions. One of the questions is, what's the most you've ever spent on a pair of blue jeans? Have you heard this before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So one of the questions he says is, what was your GPA?
I know, and that's what when you listen to him or other people. I mean, a lot of successful business people or entrepreneurs either didn't finish college,
Yeah,
they had a low GPA,
or didn't even graduate from high school.
There's
Oftentimes,
a lot of people, I've read about a lot of successful entrepreneurs that were dyslexic or
Yeah.
that had some type of learning problem
Yeah.
that have turned into very successful.
Yeah,
people.
billionaires even. So my GPA was, and I worked full time in a tire factory when I was going to school. And so when I did graduate, but my GPA, I want to say it was like a 2.6 or something, or 2.86 or something. But Dave says that his was a 2.99, and it still pisses him off to this day that he didn't get a 3. And then a lot of times, of course it depends on who you're married to, but a lot of times the men will say that their spouses have a 4.0. Or they'll go back and they'll do like a master's degree,
Right.
and they'll do really well, for their master's degree. So I don't think that, I think that nobody cares, where your doctor went to med school. Nobody cares what his GPA was.
Yeah, and that's what I
so.
think people get trapped in the status mentality
Right.
of things, and they end up, getting in debt, crazy amounts of debt because they want to go to a certain school.
Yeah.
And they don't have the money,
Right.
financial
it.
ability to do
That's
it.
it.
And they get themselves really positioned poorly for the rest of their life, trying to get out of that trap.
That's it. That's so important. And that's one of the things that he talks about all the time is the student loan debacle. So far, all of our kids, I'm responsible for 7 kids, but so far there is 0 student loan debt with our children. So 0.
I think it's
No
fair.
one has,
I think if there's a way of doing it, and I think there's so many ways anymore,
Right.
with scholarship opportunities or, going to community college starting out. I mean, there's so many opportunities where you don't have to get in that position. Because
Yeah.
like you say, it doesn't matter if, if
You went to
your
Harvard or
you
UT
don't know
Knoxville. It doesn't matter, yeah.
where your doctor went to school.
Yeah.
Very rarely do you realize what they've done. Or,
Who cares?
Unless it's,
Yeah. What was their GPA?
And it doesn't matter.
Who cares?
As long as
Well, they got into med school,
as long as you're
right?
a good doctor.
What you care about is how long have they been practicing medicine. We've got a family member who's getting ready to have surgery on the 15th of next month, and her question was, how many times have you done this surgery? Because one of the surgeons that we spoke to was at UHS, right, University, or at the UT, at their surgery center, and he's a relatively new surgeon. And then the other guy that she spoke to at Park West has been doing it for 30 years.
That was like
So guess who she chose?
30 years.
Oh yeah,
That was
100%.
how the
So.
doctor that delivered both of our kids here in town, Dr. Brabson,
Yeah.
he's practiced for like 40 plus years.
Oh, yeah.
And we asked him how many babies he had delivered. This was while we were at the hospital.
Yeah.
And he said, I really, they tried to figure that one time.
Oh.
And he said, we figured it out just based on how many typically we deliver in a month, and figured out how much how long I've been practicing. It was some crazy amount.
Yeah.
It was like
Like 10,000 or
40,000.
oh
It
wow,
was
really?
some crazy amount of babies. It was nuts how many he had delivered at that time. I can't remember the exact number, but I wish I would have.
Wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny if he was such a nerd that he really did care about which baby this was? He would walk in and announce it.
4,332.
That's what they'll call in to do their debt-free scream, and then they'll say, "I've paid off $112,782.12," and I'm always like, after the $172,000, I'm like, I don't want to hear anymore. I can't remember anything once you say the 12. All I hear is the 12 cents. I'm like, man. And then somebody will call in and they're doing their debt-free scream, and they'll say, I've paid off $135,000. I'm like, oh, that's so much nicer. And then Dave will always say, you're such a nerd if they talk about so it's so funny. Curious what your favorite color is and what's your wife's favorite color?
I've always liked blue a lot.
Yeah.
I like blue. That's probably I'd say number one favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And then red's probably my second. And then my wife's favorite color is teal.
Teal, okay. That's like a beachy color.
Yeah, it is good.
Do you guys have a lot of teal inside your home?
No, not really.
Okay. Yeah.
No, not too much, but that is probably the favorite color.
That's cool. That's a good color. We were somewhere, the store At Home?
Mm-hmm.
We were at Home one day, and they had this huge picture. They have these pictures they sell. Yeah. And they had this one picture, it had a couple of beach chairs, and then it had the ocean behind it. So I bought that, and we have that in one of our bathrooms. A lot of teal in that picture.
Make you think you're at the beach.
And then another time I went and I got another beach picture, but it's hazy, and the colors are, it's like closer. Maybe the sun's just coming up or the sun's just going down. And I had that in my office for a while. And then one day we painted, and I flipped the picture over, and nobody realized. we had it upside down for like a month.
6 months.
Yeah, I'll put a picture on the end of this video of that picture, and I flipped it over. Now I have it in my basement because it was just we put a big board up, like a planning board to have set our goals and stuff. So I thought that was pretty funny. I flipped it over and no one even knew it. So, well, Phillip, thanks for hanging out with us today and being part of our podcast and telling us about Powell Auction. I feel like it's necessary to talk about the other owners of Powell Auction. Yeah. So, do you want to talk about Kenny and?
Yeah, right now the Kenny and his brother Brian are the owners and run the day-to-day operations, and like we said earlier, their parents are still involved and here every day, and it's just a good group of people here. Yeah.
So Kenny Phillips, which is who Phillip works with. Kenny handles everything, but mainly Kenny handles the real estate part of it. So
and I think all of it kind of flows together in a way. Mostly he and I do most all of the real estate. And,
yes.
But we're involved with other aspects as well.
So you guys do, as far as the real estate, let's break it down a little bit for everybody. As far as the real estate, you guys will sell someone's home and you'll do like an estate sale. You'll sell everything in the home.
I'd say a lot of our sales are estate sales like that, where you're selling the house and then what the person's contents were that they owned, whether it was just furniture, antiques, or collections of things.
Right. You'll sell their clothes.
Yeah.
You'll sell this. Everything in this closet is included in this lot number, right? So
yeah, and so we do. We do a lot of sales like that, and I would say, and we still do traditional listings as well. But I would say, 95% of what we do is real estate auctions. Right. As far as real estate goes. Yeah, and the price of real estate here in Knoxville. All those crazy people from California and New York are moving to 3 places in the United States. Where are they moving to? Knoxville's one of them. Yeah, Knoxville's one of them. Tennessee, Middle Tennessee and East Tennessee is going to be one of them. Number 2 is Florida, and number 3 is Texas. So this place has some crazy real estate prices. So if you're coming in from California and you want to buy a house, you can go to their website at powellauction.com, and
You can see their auctions that are coming up. You can see their real estate. You can break it down by real estate. You can break it down by equipment auctions. You can break it down by auto. They have a public auto auction here. You can give them a call here at 865-938-3403. If you're from Knoxville, they're on Clinton Highway behind the Walmart, down close to Powell. So they're on, their address is 6729 Pleasant Ridge Road, right behind the Walmart. If you're by the Walmart Auto Center, they're literally
Right behind it.
Yeah, right behind the Walmart Auto Center. You can see the building on the, if you're looking at it, the building on the left is going to be their car auction, that area, and then the building on the right is where they do a lot of their I guess you bring some of the stuff here, and people can pick it up here.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes they go to the actual.
And, you can find us, like Chris said, on our webpage. You can sign up for our email list and receive notices on upcoming auctions, and our Facebook page. We've had a large presence on Facebook, so just find us however you can.
Are y'all on Instagram?
We haven't done much with Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, I know they're on Twitter. Kenny's got a Twitter. You can do a Twitter. You can check the Twitter link. If you go to their Google business profile, you'll see Facebook on the bottom and you'll see Twitter on the bottom. So you can send Kenny a tweet, or now it's called X, I think.
Yeah. X.
But I think it's X or Twitter still. A lot of people. And then how do people? So what's the cost if someone wants to bring a car here? If they don't just want to sell their car, they want to bring it here and let you guys sell it for them. Is there if the car sells or if the car doesn't sell? Do you know what the fee is?
Typically, I think the fee on selling one now is $50, I believe.
Yeah.
And you just bring it in and bring it in ahead of the sale, which, like I say, is the first and third Saturday, and run it through.
So next month, the first Saturday is going to be on.
Well, that'd be
the 5th.
Yep,
Yeah, the 5th, and then the second Saturday
have
is
it on
going to
the
be on the 19th, of October. So the first and the third Saturday. And they have anywhere from, you guys have had as many as 200 before, hadn't you?
Yeah. And on the Friday before each sale, you can come view the cars and get keys to start them. And you can't drive them, but you can look at them and go over them good.
You can start them up and you can put it in drive and put it in reverse. And
check things like that as best as you can. Or you can bring a mechanic if you wanted to, or anything. Most of the cars, they're coming from either individuals or dealers that are selling them.
Yeah.
We don't own the vehicles. A lot of people think that we do, but they're all on consignment being sold.
Yeah, so you can put the car in drive, you can put it in reverse, you can turn the air conditioner on, turn the radio on, you can pop the hood, you can check the oil, you can bounce it between reverse and drive, 5 or 10 times and get a good feel for the transmission. Some of the cars are green light, some of them are red light. A green light car has a guarantee on it.
Yeah.
How does the guarantee work?
You've got a certain period after the auction where you
2
can
hours
drive
is what it used to be.
Make sure that mainly the mechanics of the vehicle are good, and then if there's a problem with it over a certain amount of money, you can get your money back on the vehicle. And then the red lights, you're just buying them
as is
with no guarantees on them at all.
Yeah. There's still ways to check cars out. Even a red light car, you can still check them out.
Yeah,
we didn't really look at the red light, green light system before when we were here getting all of our cars. We came and we checked them out the Friday before. I remember it was so hot outside in the summer. It was just miserable. Like if you didn't have a hat, you needed an umbrella. Just it was so hot right in the middle of the day. And then so what happens if somebody tries to sell a car and it doesn't sell? Is there a fee for that or?
No, I mean that the initial fee. Is
Gotcha.
What you pay.
Okay, gotcha. How does it work if somebody's got like a shovel or something they want to sell, or do you guys have, or they would have a 4-wheeler they want to sell?
When we do personal property or things like that, I mean, typically, it's you're bringing more than just one item, but we charge a seller's commission where if you sell something that brings $100 and we've got X percentage that we take out of that and then pay you the remaining balance on it.
Yeah, you guys had like people sell 4-wheelers, they sell campers, they sell boats.
Yeah.
I see cars in the back equipment auction.
Yeah, cars, trucks, tractors, mowers, anything.
Motorcycles. I bought my motorcycle here.
Motorcycles, jet skis.
Yeah, never bought a jet ski. So you guys have you have a furniture sale here also. You guys, we bought a bunch of new furniture here one time.
They've actually got one they've got set up now for new furniture.
Oh.
And a lot of it's...
They sell couches and beds and mattresses.
It's new stuff. And
yeah.
It can be, name brand stuff that you'd recognize, or
Right.
different things. I mean,
Yeah.
we sold stuff, Ashley type stuff, or even higher end furniture, or stuff like you'd buy on Wayfair and things like that.
Yeah.
That'll come through.
We bought I want to say we bought either 2 or 3 couches, either 2 or 3 love seats, 2 or 3 chairs, a bunch of tables. Like we filled the entire house up for like little of nothing. It was brand new, and some of this stuff sometimes hasn't even been taken out of the box yet.
Yeah, I know a lot of this
Yeah.
out here right now. It's not out of the box. I mean, it's
Like
all-
literally new. Like you are gonna put it together, in out of the actual box. As far as the auto auction days, you can get here as early as 9 o'clock in the morning to check the cars out, and then the auction starts at 9. So I want to say people can get here at
Yeah, you
8.
can get here, earlier and
Yeah.
look, and then on
Yeah.
Fridays, from 9 to 5 to take a look at them and see what you think about them.
There's a guy selling hot dogs.
There's
Sometimes?
usually somebody is
yeah.
typically here selling some type of food. And,
Yeah, you can get a.
refreshments. So
There was a guy with a really nice hot dog cart out here the other day when I was here. I was like, wow, this is so nice. Like I had a conversation with him about it and where he went and got it, and
but we've had hot dogs and pizza and
yeah.
just different.
sometimes
different
donuts
local,
and
local
vendors.
vendors, whether they're food trucks or just have something on the side, small thing or something like that.
Yeah. And then what are the hours for your offices here at Powell Auction?
Yeah, I mean we're open. Somebody's usually here answering the phone by 8:30 and until 5, Monday through Friday, and then typically on Saturdays if there's a car auction going on, or if there happen to be another type of auction taking place.
Right, and you guys have a lot of parking. I noticed that when you have an auto auction, there's probably 1,000 cars here, so people can park over there on the left-hand side, or they can park on the right-hand side.
Yeah,
the parking lot goes really far; it goes back like a good 1/8 of a mile.
We got a large parking area, so
It's a lot of
plenty of
fun.
room.
It's a lot of fun. We're lucky to have a public auto auction here. I think the next closest public auto auction is in Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken.
I think there was one in Chattanooga. I don't know
Okay.
if they're still. I think they're still going, and then there's one in Nashville too.
Oh, okay. So you go 3 hours to get to a public auto auction,
Yeah, so
and
it's
then if the last thing would be if somebody wants to have you come out and look at their property that they're interested in selling and give them a price on it.
call, at our office, and just talk to Kenny or myself, and we'll come out and take a look at it and see what we think. But it's a good way of selling. You're able to sell it, as is with no contingencies. You don't have to worry about inspections or appraisals, and when it's going to close and when it's going to sell. So
And the closing happens within usually 30 days or
typically
45
30
days.
Typically 30 days
Yeah,
after the
yeah.
auction date.
And they can set up a shorter closing too if they want
Yeah,
to.
if they
maybe.
wanted to. It's not. I think that can deter from some people from wanting to bid on it. I think 30 days is a good time, but we've sold some that somebody's wanted to close in 2 weeks before.
Right.
So it's
And
not
a lot of
all
buyers
about-
have cash. They're actually not getting a mortgage when you're going through an auction like this. That's one of the stipulations is that you're able to close quickly.
Yeah.
You're not. It's not contingent on getting approved for a mortgage.
Not contingent on them, and we have a lot of buyers that do obtain a loan.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
at the end of the day, it's not contingent
Yeah.
on your ability to get financing.
What's it? So you guys sell farms and you sell commercial property. I've seen commercial property before.
We sell, we sell stuff from, $5,000 little building lots
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
multi-million-dollar farms
Yeah.
or commercial properties.
Like I've seen. Didn't you have like
Everything in
140 acres the other day, or
Yeah, we
250
we've
acres
had
or
a lot of
something?
different,
Yeah.
large tracts of land
Mm-hmm.
all over the East Tennessee area. Really.
Yeah. And so what they'll do sometimes is they'll offer the whole thing as a whole, and then they'll break it out into different tracts.
Yeah,
and
typically
then,
to try to make, on a larger tract of land, it's just so hard to find somebody that
Right.
wants to
to spend $1 million or
that has the
$200,000.
ability to
Yeah.
spend a lot of money on a piece of property, or the ability to, keep a property like that up. So to help the seller make sure that they get the most money that they can, we'll have it surveyed and divided up into smaller tracts.
Sure.
So it might range from 5 acres to 50 acres or something like that, just to open it up to more interested parties
Right.
and try to help the seller maximize what they're getting out of the property.
Able to
too.
receive, yeah. And the last thing we'll talk about is you guys sell lakefront properties and riverfront properties sometimes as well.
You get, you never know what you're going to get out throughout the year.
Yeah, yeah.
We just sold one this week that was in Walland on the Little River.
I saw that on your
But
website.
you'll have different things. I talked to somebody today about selling a house on Cherokee Lake. So I mean, you just never know
yeah.
what you're going to get.
Right. Do these people usually follow up with you pretty good, or do you have to call them back a lot, or?
No, it just depends on the person.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
right.
like with anything.
Yeah.
Some people, the first time you talk to them, they're ready to go and want to do it, and then other people, you might talk to somebody for a year before they're ready to.
Yeah.
Sell,
Oh,
or
yeah.
longer.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes people don't buy immediately or
Right.
sell immediately. Yeah. Sometimes there's a level of not really discomfort, but there's a level of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, people just making decisions.
Yeah. Being
a lot of
indecisive.
people
Sure.
it just takes them a long time to
Yeah.
decide on what they want to do.
Yeah, we bought our very first property from Powell Auction for it was a one bedroom house. It was off of Greenway. You know where Greenway is. I was standing in the house telling her not to bid on it, as she bid on it. I could see through the roof, like I could see the sky through.
I wouldn't bid on that one.
I said no, and she bid on it. And guess what the winning bid was?
What'd you all pay for that one?
$1,700.
What?
That was our very first house. A one bedroom house for $1,700.
You can't beat that.
You can't find that anymore, can you? we sold it to some construction guys the same week, and then they turned around and they rehabbed it, and they may have even put a second bedroom on the side of it, but they had to build the bathroom, they had to obviously put a new roof on it, they had to do some major work to it. And they're renting it out now. And I drive by it all the time as I'm getting off on the Broadway exit, and I look over there and it's sitting on the little hill, and it's just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. A lot of times in real estate, you're actually paying for the land, not the structure.
You can be.
So, yeah. Well, Phillip, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, thanks for teaching us about Powell Auction. And again, you can go to their website at powellauction.com and learn more about their business. And thanks for watching.
Do you want to promote your business on our podcast? You can give us a call or shoot us a text at 865-687-7100. You can also apply by filling out our Google form in the description box.